What's going on, everybody? Scott Hogan. We are here in the new studio. Kind of got it where we like it for so far. We'll change it, I'm sure. But today we're going to talk about how to use your setup, a setup that you have at your house, this setup, any setup on the range, to practice better and actually see some benefit from it. Hey everybody, Scott Hogan coming at you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today I want to talk about practice. Let's get to work getting better at your golf game. So what we're going to talk about today is stuff that I go over all the time with my students. I do this with a lot of online students as well, and it helps people get better faster because you're really getting into the correct mindset. We all know this is a mental game. People that have played this game forever know your mind plays such a big part of it, but I think we don't really truly know what that means as we're going through the entire process of getting better at the game. So before we do that, make sure you click that subscribe button. We're going to be giving you more drills here in the beautiful simulator enclosure we have from golfenclosures.com. Thank you to them for coming over, putting this up, and helping us out with getting set up in our new COVID restricted setup here. So thank you to them. And we're going to get into using this to our max. So if I'm going to be practicing here, having this setup has really got me motivated to practice, but what do I have to be able to do if I'm going to get better? Well, the first thing I have to do is I have to set a goal, okay? This is going to sound pretty basic, but when you're practicing, what I always hear people say to me, I always be like, hey, what is your goal? And they'll be like, all right, I want to get more consistent. I'm not very consistent. And it's like, okay, consistent at what? You know, there's a lot of things that you can try to be consistent at, let alone consistency is pretty hard and nobody's very consistent. But if you could pick one thing, what is that? And a lot of people don't know what that is. And you know, you have this unit and you have these launch monitors that have all this data, and it's like, all right, you have it, now you have to use it to get better. So you want to decide what you're going to be working on. The other thing you want to decide is, are you going to be working on technical side of your game, or are you working on performance? Now, because it's early in the winter, early in the off season up here in the north, we usually work on technical, and we'll do this for a couple of months. I give a lot of my students the chance to, hey, let's make your swing look how you want it to look, and then let's get practicing on it so you can get it dialed in, and then we're on to performing better, because they're not the same thing. So we'll do that. So today I'm going to work more on technical, and I'm going to be working on, as far as a goal, I need to be working on getting that ball to start a little right and work on getting it to draw. That's my goal, and that's why I want to technically change my swing, okay? So what I do is I need a little bit of what we call feedback then to make sure I'm getting there. Now, what can be feedback? One is going to be the feedback of a coach. I actually, even though I'm a golf coach, people are always surprised, I work on my swing with somebody else. I don't just look at it myself, because I don't think that it's easy to look at your own swing and be objective about it. I tend to look at things and be like, oh, look at that, look at that, look at that. And I can get really mixed up and like, I wish I looked like that. I wish I looked like this. And it's not really what I need to do. I'm just focusing on random things. And so I get help. I get somebody to make sure I'm working. It's basically just reinforcement, like, hey, I wish I could do this. And they're saying, yep, that's what you should do. You know, that's usually how it goes. But they can sometimes tell me, no, you got to do more of this, you got to do more of that. That's just something that gets me to think very positively that I'm working on the right thing. So one form of feedback is get a coach. Number two, feedback is use your launch monitor. You have to pick something out that you are going to use that's going to give you the information you need. Now, if you have a higher end launch monitor like a TrackMan or a FlightScope X3, you know, at a quad where it gives you that face angle, I could use that. But what I'm going to use instead, using a Mevo Plus and my E6 software, I'm going to look at this direction number here. I'm going to see that it says 3.9 and it says to the right at the moment. Now, again, I've said my goal is to start the ball more to the right and see it start curving. Now, I could also look at the side spin number, but I'm going to just work on the first one here. I'm going to work on just getting the ball to start more to the right. I tend to pull it to the left, fade it back. So I want to get it to start that way to the right. So I've got feedback from my launch monitor. I've got feedback because my coach has told me what I need to do. okay? And now I'm going to use feedback in the form of, I have my camera. I usually would use my live view here, but I have my camera set up where I can actually see on a monitor just down below you. You probably can't see that on this, but I can see what I want to do. So I'm actually practicing, because I'm technical, I'm practicing hitting the right stuff in my swing. So what I like to see is I want to be more vertical with my swing so I can come down more from in the inside here, okay, as opposed to I used to be kind of flat and then I would do this and I'm torquing the club across. I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is make some slow swings, hit my positions, and just hit some shots. And again, the only number I'm paying attention to right now is I want the ball starting to the right. That's going to be my club face, and that I'm going to see what it was as we go. So that one was 2.4 to the right. I kind of like that one, okay? So we're going to do it again. That one should be a little bit straighter. I kind of didn't make the best contact on it. And we'll see what we get on that one as we go, okay? Direction actually started dead zero, which isn't what I want. If I'm actually hitting a draw, I would draw too far to the left. So I started it right on zero. Don't want that. Back. There we go. That was a little better. I like that. And you can see I'm just working my way through a very slow progression. I'm not trying to hit the ball too hard. I'm trying to just get that number that I have to work. Now, let's say I've been doing that for a while and I feel like, hey, I'm getting a good feel for it. What I would start to do then is, okay, is just work my way up in speed and see if I can continue to duplicate that. Again, I'm probably not full yet, but it's getting closer. And then we'll see what we can do. So I'm going to continue through this process. I could change clubs then, but I'm probably at the technical side. I'm going to keep it pretty simple. You know, I'm hitting an 8-iron, only hitting about 135 yards. Again, I can hit it a lot farther than that, but I'm just working on getting things dialed in. And what I'm doing is building confidence. I have this new move I want to do. Again, I've consulted with a coach. I've used my own eyes. I've said, this is what I want to do. Here's why. I have a number to back it up. And now I'm working my way through, making sure I can get that number to work. And then I'm going to build myself up. We call this block practice, and it's something that I think gets skipped over way too much with people because there's a lot of talk about being more random in your practice. That's for a completely different situation where you don't have your skills yet. You have to show that you can do this over and over. You have to show that you can go through the same routines, the same processes. If you want to be consistent, you have to start being consistent here with how you go about trying to get your goals. So again, I can look back, I'm seeing, all right, that looks pretty good, and I'm building my confidence in the move. This might take weeks, might take only a few days. Just kind of depends. You got to know what's going to say, hey, I've completed what's going to be done. Pretty good. So I'm getting that ball to start to the right. I am cutting a little bit, but I'll work on that later. Again, that's not my number one goal at the moment. I don't want to pull the ball. You've seen in some of my encore stuff, I struggle with the ball starting left, and then it doesn't come back, or it's just ugly. So that's the first two stages. Set a goal and have some feedback. How do you know while you're practicing you're doing what you need to be doing? Now, the last thing is you have to have what we call a completion goal, okay? Completion goal. How do you know that you are ready to move on? Well, here's what I would say. I'm going to be hitting shots. I'm going to be working my way up, going through that whole progression. If I get to where I'm hitting it full and I can hit, 10 in a row that start between, let's say, 1 to the right and 3.5 to the right, then I'm good. I like that. I'm going to move on to the next step. For me, that would then be matching the curve to go with it. But I'm going to take it in pieces and really get my game dialed in. That's what you can do, and that's what's so nice with all of this technology that we're able to do now is we're able to practice in a way that the pros all practice, and I saw it when I was on the range in Arizona for years, and I never picked up on it, and that's why I never saw myself get much better But I saw others really get pretty good pretty quick. And I saw some people with some interesting moves, things that were going on. I was like, oh, what? But they were just very defined in what they wanted to have happen, and they were able to make it happen. So get out there, start showing that you're practicing, start defining what you're going to work on, and you're going to get better. That's how you get better, using all this stuff. Otherwise, it's just going to be fun. You're going to be surprised when you go back outside. Hey, I still shoot the same scores. It's because we haven't done some of these steps. They're very important and something that you really need to incorporate in your game, all right? So if you have any questions about using your setup to get better for practice, we're gonna keep going. Make sure you click that subscribe button down below. We're gonna continue building upon these ideas, so don't wanna miss out on those. Thanks everybody for watching. Again, thanks for joining us in the new setup, and looking forward to more videos from here, so can't wait for it. Thanks everybody, we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.